And welcome back to Base Sunday, everyone. You may recognize our next guest as the author of 3 New York Times bestsellers and TV and movie stars such as CSI New York, The Sopranos, and much, much more. He's also founded the Manifest Your Destiny organization, a nonprofit that enlightens underserved youth on the importance of education. His most recent edition, though, is what we're going to talk about today. It's called The Wealth Cure, a book that looks at redefining wealth in order to achieve it in every aspect of your life. Please welcome Hill Harper, who we bring in via satellite this morning. Hill, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you, Frank?
We're all good up here in San Francisco, and I got to tell you, The Wealth Cure, it's a fascinating book because it makes you think, because you take a much deeper look on how money and finances really affect the decisions and the choices in life, which pretty much pave our journey in life. It's so true, and I don't think we think about that very often.
You know what? Most of us just take for granted what we've been taught about money. And we've been taught the wrong things, to be quite honest. Most of us have been taught that money is a result. It's something we should chase. It's something we go after. It's the lotto mentality. We should build up our bank account, and then the life account will follow. When I believe it's actually the reverse. You work on your life account first, and then the bank account will follow. And you know, money is actually a resource tool of many tools that we have in our toolkit for building our life, rather than being the primary thing that we should be chasing.
So you got to follow your passion. I think that's the lesson learned there. You had an epiphany while on a cross-country trip, not to mention some tough personal news as well. Tell us what spawned the book.
Well, you know, my Manifest Your Destiny Foundation, I deal with young people and older people as well, and it's about figuring out and helping empower, uplift, inspire, educate, and helping them live their best life. What started coming back to me a lot was this excuse, and it was very interesting. I would talk to people, well, why aren't you living the life you want? And they say, well, Hill, you know, I want to do this or learn this or go to this school. I can't afford it. You'd say, well, I want to start this business, but I don't have the money. You know, I'm in debt. I'm just barely paying my bills. I got credit card debt, etc. All of these excuses around why someone couldn't live their life, the life they wanted to live, were money-based. And so I started working on just a basic financial literacy book. It was about money and financial literacy. And last summer, in the midst of writing this book, I was shooting a movie in Atlanta with Tyler Perry called For Color Girls. I was on hiatus from CSI New York. And I woke up one morning, I couldn't swallow, and I knew something was wrong. And I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And within that diagnosis, and then the curative process of working with the doctors, I realized, you know, no matter how much celebrity you have, no matter how much money you have, no matter how good your budget is, etc., if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. If you don't have your loved ones, your family, friends, you're not wealthy. So I came up with this theorem that it's money plus wellness equals wealth.
So something really bad, cancer, really kind of reshaped your whole life, didn't it?
Absolutely it did. You know, my father passed from cancer, his brother passed from cancer, my grandfather died of cancer, so I didn't want to follow in their footsteps, to be quite honest. And I'm always about solutions, and what I did for this book is that I took the curative process that doctors use, the steps that they use, to apply to our financial life. This is the wealth cure. Okay, so to take that money excuse off the table. So the first step is a diagnosis. That's what doctors start with, okay? And we have to do our own diagnosis with our own wealth and money and the issues we have. For instance, getting rid of credit card debt. That's number one. I joke with folks, I say, listen, if you really need to be in touch with Visa, then buy the stock. Don't use the card, okay? And then the next step, and you have to do a budget within that, and you have to be very honest with yourself. The next step is coming up with a treatment plan, yet we know that just having a plan isn't enough. We actually have to comply with the plan, and then that can't just be temporary. We have to maintain that compliance, and then ultimately thrive. And those are the steps I kind of lay out in the book, The Wealth Cure.
Well, I'd say we're out of time, but if you want to improve your life, I like what you said about the warrior light, too, living each day and just tackling everything with positive energy. And if you want more, just go out and buy the book. It's called The Wealth Cure. It's a great ticket to a good life. Hill Harper, thanks so much for joining us here on Base Sunday. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
More Base Sunday coming up right after this.